Good morning. I'm Mr. Sudhakar, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering. We are going to see the subject of disaster risk reduction management under the topic of disaster risks and elements. First, what is disaster risk? We all know what is the disaster. We discussed in the previous topic also. So we all know what is the disaster, what are the risk types, and what are the causes and remedies. These are the topics we discussed before the video. Now we are going to first thing disaster. Disaster risk is expressed as the likelihood of loss of life, injury or destruction and damage from the disaster in the given period of time. Right? It is simply is widely recognized as the consequences of interaction between a hazard and the characteristics that make people that places vulnerable and exposed. Right? Then disaster risk is results from complex interaction between development and processes that generate conditions of exposure, vulnerability and hazard. These three things are adding of three things like hazard, expose and vulnerability is equal to risk. Right? This commonly called as a disaster risk. Right? This is the picture shows what is the ratio, what is the availability of other three things combined with the risk. These three things are combined together with called as a risk. These risks are happens with various types and various types that will be having each types and each risk are having the individual causes and individual remedies. These causes and remedies are used to resolve the risk during the disaster time. Right? The combination of severity and frequency of hazard, the number of pupils and assets exposed to the hazard, and their vulnerability to damage. Hazard, vulnerability and expose are influenced by the number of risk drivers, including poverty and inequality, badly planned or managed urban and regional development, climate change, and environmental degradation. Right? Then disaster risk is the product of possible damage caused by the hazard due to the vulnerability within the community. Right? Then what is the components of the disaster risk is the first thing divided into physical disaster, that is coming under the magnitude, frequency and duration, and the second thing human vulnerability, that is exposition, resistance and resilience. That exposition is the location of hazard, environmental resistance is the lifestyle with earnings and health, and resilience is adjustments, risk reduction activities and preparations of disaster. Then what is the understanding of risk is to possibility and what will be occur and consequences. Then that is a simple example is how the disaster coming. We should know once come what will be taking the action of the disaster and how to came out from the disaster risk. That is the understanding of risk. Each and every public, each and every human should know what the types of disasters happening in that particular local areas and be aware that disasters. Now the government having they take the initial